It's the Obama face.
I cannot
Okay.
literally. Okay, hey Curtis, how are you doing?
Good morning, Kayla. How are you?
That's great. I'm really excited to do this. I feel like we've gotten to know each other very well over the past few months, so I'm really, really happy for everybody to hear a story. But first off, I definitely want to just congratulate you because obviously you've just made a really big transition in your life, and I'm very, very proud of you. I'm so happy that you decided to kind of step out on faith and trust yourself, and here we are, right? So, yeah, give everybody a little intro.
All right. So started off, I think it was like last March or April, whenever you did that one interview, it was like, how much do you make in a year? And so then I was like, oh, I was like, is she a real person? But then she had like these Yeezy slides on. So I was like, no, she was real because I thought it was like a fake page. So then I was like, all right, let me go search her out some more. And so I went to like the bottom of I for real. So I went to the bottom of your page and it was like the first post I clicked was it was like the IBM post, like when you made the transition to OneTrust, and I was like, oh no, she's real because she's like making authentic testimonials about herself. Okay, and so then I went back to your YouTube, and like literally, it was this it was like one of your first starter videos when you were posting about tech sales tips and like 15 different positions and things like that, and I was like, okay,
Oh
so
wow,
then I
that's
really
not
got you.
bad.
Yeah, so you started, it was a bit up in there, and then you started talking about God, and I was like, oh, okay, she a real person, all right. So then the more like I started back from the back end of videos, I started then to also see like how you did one with another tech website or interview, something like that. And so then I started doing more research with myself because then I took an offer with AT&T that got rescinded. And then when I went into that, I had no idea that I was going into and applying for tech sales. So at the same time that I started following you on social media, I was actually making a career change blindly. And so then I was pulling knowledge in from you as I got whirlwinded from that and started putting more in together to make a strategy. And so
Yes.
then I started following you. One second. Is the robot going?
You asking?
Can you hear it in the background?
Um, not really, but
Oh, okay. Sorry. Can you edit that out?
I don't know.
But
I don't know,
all right. So
but it's
started
okay.
following more, and then I started as I left into going into trying to pivot into tech sales this summer. It was like, all right, so what else isn't clicking for me? I was getting interviews left and right, but then wasn't able to secure past like second round, and so then my issue was conciseness. So then as you started to then bring out your free webinars and everything else, I said, oh, she actually has a coaching. I need that because something isn't clicking for me. So then I started off with what you were doing complimentary. Then once you started doing the month long in that I saw in October, signed up for October. By then start reached out back to Square itself, then secured another interview. I was doing cold networking, waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, sending emails, messages, calling, trying to see like, hey, what can I get that's outside of the general apply realm? And so then applying what you'd say. So from the strategy of my talk track, okay, learning to then take different components of the actual sales terminology, speaking of towards mythology that I was using on a day-to-day basis to then break out of one industry to the next, relate that to what I didn't know, but applying my effort there. Then applying the general curiosity to say I'm applying as many stances and cadences in my real daytime as I would with whatever product that I'm then propositioning to another seller. And so reached out to a blind square contact from there, and then just had a general interview track, right? So my last interview, my now director asked, well, so what have you done outside of just harassing everybody, being funny? I said, well, no, I've done a tech sales coaching class as well, and I said, if you knew the way I harassed her, you'd believe, like, no, I'm passionate about it. And she was like, okay, well, what'd you learn? And I said, well, what did I learn? I said, okay, well, I literally opened up my notebook that I take like in your coaching. And I said, okay, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom. And she said, I read her through every point. And I said, no, every Tuesday with her, what I would do is take the notes during, then go back and elaborate throughout each note. So I'm asking, the questions of what you take from the forum at the end of every session. You say, okay, what is our talk track? What Q&A do we have? And then I'm propositioning back to her and saying in a real time day, all right, so what position, I'm sorry, not what positions, what actual tools are they using and then utilizing for onboarding? What actual skills are they actually looking for from us? And then instead of just asking us to position with, okay, talk tracks and then providing them with summaries and just like a general paragraph, ask us for more engagement, and then you were able to actually supply me with that by giving me real-time info.
Right.
Sorry for being
Okay,
long-winded.
cool. So there's multiple things that I heard that I kind of want to like dive into for sure. So the first one is, let's start with the career change. So what made you even want to change careers? I heard that you had an offer that got rescinded, but before you even got that offer, what made you want to change careers? And let everybody know what career field you're changing from.
So I had met so I started off as an auto service advisor in 2018.
Okay.
I'm sorry, hot up here.
That's okay.
So you got it on 83? Turn it to like 80, please. So,
You're just crazy. You got on a turtleneck. I'm literally dead.
look, I'm like, no, I'm cold. That was the thing. Then I done came downstairs. So, started off in 2018 with my first manager telling me that my salary goal would take me 5 years to accomplish. I met that in 3 years, and then, but I didn't know what else to do, so I still had to figure out. I said, okay, I want to meet that 5 year mark in time, and then re-strategize from there. So coming into 2023, it was my breakout year anyway, and so
Okay.
then I said, okay, how do I figure this out? How do I figure this out? And then literally I'm trying to figure out, I'm just applying for positions for the sake of based off of salary range, and then everything
Right.
else started clicking by me going to the AT&T workshop for that role, and then me taking more information from there as I got the role. So because once I got my first offer letter from them, I was like, I think I lowballed myself. I'm like, okay. And so then I
Yeah.
instantly, before the offer got pulled, I instantly was doing more homework from there at competition and seeing like, no,
That
something
wasn't the
not right.
best fit anyway, like kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah. Now, everything always works out the way it's supposed to work out. I'm a firm believer in that. But yeah, okay. So you're leaving the car sales industry essentially. You're transferring into tech at this point because you want to do a career pivot. And then you start to do research. So talk about what the lift is. Even if you were to get coaching from me, how much time do you feel like as a person you just dedicated to your transition as a whole? Because I feel like that's something people overlook all the time, right? Like everybody's like, oh, I just want to do the mentorship and boot camp, or I just want to do a boot camp. But it also takes a lot of work on your own. I feel like to one, how you were saying, get up every day, do the cold outreach to reach the recruiters, you know what I mean, to position yourself for these jobs or whatever. And two, how much of the like learning, like let's say we would do a session for like 90 minutes during our coaching session once a week. How much time did you have to study that material on the back end or like apply yourself to the things that we were teaching and learning?
I'm
Because
trying to
I just
get the
want to be
calculator
transparent
out
with
the
people. I
screen.
feel like it's not only the coaching and boot camp, it's how much effort you put into, wanting to make the transition yourself.
So if I did 2.5 months with you, so that's 90 times 8, plus.
But we only met, so even though it was 2.5 months, it was just like once a week. It wasn't really like the whole time.
Right, so
Yeah.
90 minutes. And
Oh,
then,
so times,
mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, I know what you're saying.
So, okay, that's already at 720 minutes. So, divided by 60, that's 12 hours. So, I would say a collective of over 8 months, like 180 plus hours.
Really? And what
Out.
were you doing in the times like when it wasn't with me? Like, what were you doing?
So, that would be applying for jobs, applying for jobs, adding people on LinkedIn. So then adding people in every single department from hiring manager relative recruiter, technical recruiter, talent acquisition, everyone that's associated. I'm even figuring out their birthdays, telling them happy birthday, y'all hiring, things like that. Like trying to get as many details as a decision maker in the same way to see like every little small detail. So I may have been looking at you on LinkedIn, looking at you on Facebook, looking at you on Instagram, trying to find every part of the company. Like, where's my way in? Who's gonna take a chance on
Yeah.
responding to me today?
Okay, cool. And so, what was your favorite thing that we learned? I feel like, or what was your favorite part of the coaching program and mentorship that you feel like really made things stick for you or help you transition more?
Week 2 of the first coaching month, when you went into talking about cybersecurity and the different aspects of when selling it and being able to connect with your merchant. So,
Right.
well, I'm sorry, with your buyer. So then
Right.
it actually tied into me yesterday because we did an AI phone call, and so on it, I had was selling to a barber, and so part of it, the feedback, the one point I missed was able to connect towards a feature to also expand towards like how barbers may have inventory in the shop. And so then it was the part of that sale that you actually said do your research to be able to connect is the biggest thing. So when we're listening, we have background knowledge to be able to make a better connection so they don't feel as though it's a sell.
Awesome. Yeah, that's my favorite week, I swear, because I'm just like, I feel like it really helps everybody click. And
Everybody's
so
quiet.
outside of cybersecurity, just for people who don't know, so we talk about like infrastructure, SaaS, cybersecurity, like platform as a service. I really take a really deep dive approach. I feel like at helping people understand how to connect technology to translatable value propositions that add value to the specific customer call that you're going to be on. So, well, that's great because that's my favorite lesson. So I love that it's also landing with you in your role. And then I think like just kind of one last question I have on the boot camp that I'm going to talk about is also talk about the fact that so I love that you're still using things from the boot camp in your role because I feel like the boot camp isn't really designed for people who are just looking to land. I always call it like land and expand because once you actually get the job, I feel like there's tons of things that we dive into. I feel like really only the first week is really about getting the job. I feel like everything else really dives into once you are in this position, how do you win? Like, how do you actually do the job? How do you win at your job? How do you hit your quota? And how do you have the necessary sales techniques to actually perform? Which I think is really important because I feel like if you just go through a boot camp with the mindset of, okay, I just want to get the job, then what do you do once you actually get there? And like you said, like I'm gonna actually be on calls now. I have to connect with customers. So yeah, so talk about that aspect. I feel like that's kind of like my last question. I would say,
Ask the question one more time.
just like how did the boot camp help you when you landed and expanded more
Okay.
than just like land the job?
So to strategize, so not stopping at one point and looking
Yeah,
for and like so even the way that you say, okay, ask for training as soon as you get there and ask for enablement to if you can get it a little early
right,
because even that setting my foundation instead of which they gave it to me 3 days early, but those 3 days were amazing because depending on your tech stack. So
right,
some of the technology that you were telling us just to use on the side or to start looking up anyway, then if they drop 10 separate programs on you, you're not just learning the job, you're learning how to use those 10 separate programs to efficiency. So you saying, okay, be realistic with structure and time of day. Because you one lesson you said, you might get breakfast that morning. You might want to cook breakfast. That'll slow you down. So
right,
just taking that time to learn about myself and learn like what part of my job that I like so I can adapt to it, those are
right.
important.
Okay, cool. Awesome. Well, I feel like this is great. I'm really happy. Do you want to tell
Thank you.
everybody where you're working at now?
So I work at, have I been looking at you this whole time? I've been looking at the camera on though. So
Really?
I work,
You haven't seen me this whole time?
so you've been going in and out. You went blurry a little bit. I was just trying to keep up with you.
Oh, wow. Both of ours have been clear on mine. You got
But
bad Wi-Fi. No, I'm playing.
okay, indeed. I was like, let me just keep talking. But no, I work at Square, so formerly known, well, Block, formerly known as Square, as a fintech solutions specialist or BDR. So, and it's again one of the things that one of your first videos you said, okay, be humble enough to start off as a SDR, BDR, learn those fundamentals, which is amazing because the communication skills that I've learned in these last 2 weeks alone, it's like, okay, sharpen me some more. What else I got? What else I need?
Yeah. How do you feel in your actual role? Do you feel like you had an idea, like this is what it would be like day to day, or you're kind of like, "Whoo, this is a lot. I didn't expect all this." Like, or what's your real perception or gauge now that you actually have landed your tech sales role? What is from a 1 to 10? What would you say is like, okay, I knew it was gonna be like this, or like, "Woo, I'm in shock," kind of like this is crazy.
I'm not trying to sound cocky, but we already got on the phones and I'm killing it and I'm already like three flips in. And so
Period.
I'm trying to be okay, look, realistically, I'm trying to be humble, but it's like I put in all that work in 2023. I'm not here to play with y'all. I'm trying to like hurry up and move.
Exactly.
So right.
I'm here to
So
get back to my coin.
this
Okay.
no, but I will say confidence wise, being able to as much outside as info as you give and being able to say like realistically, like when you throw in your tactics, hey, how are you? Being able to cut that icebreaker in immediately and then desensitize the situation and go into the call and keep it level, that's a key thing because you set the tone of conversation. So even the emotional skills that you put in to say, hey, start with the heart, then go with the product, it'll all work itself out.
Right. I love that. Well, I'm so happy. I love that you're sharing your story.
Thank you.
Hopefully, more people who are transitioning, this gives them a little bit more insight into just what it looks like, what that process and transition looks like. And, I'm really, really proud of you. Like, I've told you this a million times, but
You are so
I think.
inspiring. You keep it real. You just be like, okay, y'all. So this is what's going on with me, and this is it. But I still got to go to work. We got to make this money. But they playing with me in the background. But we still got to make this money.
Literally. No, I love that I'm a real person. I love that you said that because I'm just like, I don't think people think I'm a real person. But I do have so many moving parts to everything. I would say I'm so passionate about like my boot camp and just like coaching because I really be in there like, look, y'all gotta get this. All right, this is what we need to work on. This
And
is
at
how we
the
need to
end,
get
let's
through
pray
it.
about it. Okay.
Right, and then let's pray about it. Let's just all go ahead and give it to God because we're on a journey here. So yeah, I love that people get to see that side of me because I feel like social media is kind of just like, you know what I mean? Like, how is she really? And I feel like you get that immersive, like, just time with me every week. And I'm a super down to earth person. Like, I'm really not like the most. Like, I might show up to coaching in like a hoodie, and I'm just like, I'm here, guys. I made it. I worked all day. Like, I'm just here to, do what I
Let's
need
get
to
it
do.
going.
Right.
Look, on the
But
10, you give a little breaker. Just like on the 10.
yes, right. But
But
no.
I will say, there's a point where when you get questions, you'll say, okay, that's vague, add clarity. I asked a vague question the other day, and a coworker said, Curtis, that's a little vague, be more specific. I was like, no, I think she'll figure it out. She ain't figured it out. And so then I was like, actually, she said that just like Kayla, like, can you give me more to help you answer this with? And so
Right.
it's the little parts of that, even in the way that you ask to be engaged with, that's necessary, which I
Right.
appreciate.
Yeah. I feel like that's just natural because of sales. Like I'm like always like digging and digging for more, but I do feel like I can't really answer people's questions unless they give me like exactly where they need me to be with it. But yeah, that's something I always recommend is you guys like ask more questions. But I love that. I love everything going on. Like I said, 1 million times. I'm so happy for you, so proud of you. Yeah, and I feel like anybody who's looking to make this transition, um, what do you don't have to say your salary, but how do you feel about the compensation from where you were to where you are? Like your whole OTE, your on target earnings, everything. Do you feel like
I
that
think I took a
potential to
halfway pay
make,
cut.
huh?
I think I took a halfway pay cut, to be honest.
In your base, but what do you feel like your overall target for the year? Do you feel like you can make 6 figures this year?
Probably realistically 92.
92.
92.
But is 92, like if you were to hit your targets, is 92 going to be more than where you left?
No, it's still less. It'll be about 15K less.
Okay. But do you feel like that's just because it's your first year and you
First
have
year, 100%. Just
yeah.
first year under, but then that's the comp that's cash comp. So then when I look at the
It's
total
not.
package, and so then yes, so I'm gonna be looking at things like stock. I'll be looking at wellness credit, remote from home versus driving 20 miles a day, XYZ, like
Right.
those small things bring it all back in.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah. And how do you feel being remote?
Oh, so the part about that, I call it, they did a social marketing scheme. We were all told remote, and then we get called for an enablement call. And it's like, okay, so you have to come into office. And then we're like, oh, it was just supposed to be for a couple of days. Then it's supposed to be for 90 days. And I'm like, they said they want to see who really want to be on the block and who really to commit. So I'm like, all right, that's fine. We're going to
You have to go
strategize
every
this.
day now?
3 days a week. Yep. But
Oh, not bad. So you're in a hybrid model.
yeah, so they just sprung it on us. So it was a nice way to say let's adapt to it and then find a way to branch out and stick out. And it's like, all right, you want us to come in 3 days? I'm coming in 4 days.
Yeah. Oh, period. Okay. Like, I'm not here to play with y'all.
You asked to see me now. Now you got to see me because I changed my life around at this point.
I love that, Curtis.
Really.
Literally. No, I love. I knew you. It's so crazy because I know, like, I get this gut feeling. I'm like, who's gonna actually like? Not saying like everybody won't make it. You know what I'm saying? But I know who's gonna be really good at tech sales. When I
Not you said I'm up next. Thank you.
I just knew, like I knew it was something about you where I was just like, he's gonna do this really quickly and he's gonna get a job. I think what it was is your willingness and like how much you would come back with. You would go do stuff on your free time that I didn't have to tell you to do, and it was your initiative to do those things that it was like he's gonna get the job and he's gonna be really good at this because that's what it takes once you get the job. Like how you're saying, I show up extra, I do this and that, and even you saying like, okay, yeah, I'm making 15K less, than my other job, but this is a stepping stone into six figures. So by like, I still think, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't get, what did I get? I think my base salary my first year in tech sales was like 70K, and I only made like maybe 25,000 in commission. So I was at like about 95 my first year, like to 100, maybe 100. Maybe I got a little bit more
My
than,
base is
but like I broke
55
six
to
figures, but it was like low six figures, like maybe 105,000 or something. So I still feel like that's a really great first year salary for SDR, BDR. I'm gonna be honest. And OTE. I feel like I really started to really make great money year three, to be honest, when it was like, okay, I finally became an AE, account executive, and I really could like turn up. So it's like, you already know, that's next. So it's all good, but yeah.
So I'm actually trying to go BDR, strat BDR enablement route.
What BDR enablement? What's that?
So,
That'd be
BDR
fun.
product development, well, product marketing or product management enablement. So, as in enablement, when you go into new hires, they then also go out to the new merchants that we may partner with, new businesses. Make sure that I'm speaking to those businesses and helping them with the hardware, the software, and making sure that they're using and working to efficiency so they know how to use all features.
Awesome. Well, that's still great because honestly, you still broke into the tech industry, and now outside of tech sales, you have the, I guess, trajectory to go into other areas
Hmm.
of technology, which is what I tell people. You don't always have to stay in sales. You could do 1 or 2 years and then go into some other role, which is still really great because you get to break into tech. You know what I mean? Which is still pretty difficult because that's a lot more technical role, and you would have had to had a lot more technical background to, I feel like, go into a role like that. So it kind of bridges that gap for you. But
Yes.
yeah, no,
And I'm
that's
trying to do like you've had like three reloads by now, two or three reloads.
what you mean.
So you've moved with work two or three times
Oh
by
yeah.
now?
So I jumped. I wouldn't even say jumped. I just transitioned 2 times because it wasn't really a jump. Like, oh, I'm stuck in a space. It was just more like, I know it's time for me to make this move to like elevate myself to the next position and what I see myself doing.
And
But yeah,
congratulations to you.
thank you.
Thank you
I've
doing that.
definitely stayed in the like just pre-sales track the whole time. But yeah, it definitely was just me knowing in my gut instinct, like, okay, it's time for me to either switch companies or switch roles for the growth. Um, And usually after like 18 months to 2 years, in all tech companies, they're looking for you to make that transition, to be completely transparent. So, yeah.
Which is a breath of fresh air because in auto you can stay. It's like I was always having to aim for brand, and so once you get to like a Jaguar, Land Rover, or Porsche, which I already did, it was like,
What's next kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
because then you seeing, I'm already like, got the Destiny's Child as the clients. Oh wait, my bad. So yeah, like for instance, take this part out, but like I had Michelle as my client, and it's like,
Well, I don't know if I can take it out.
oh.
Listen, I don't know yet. I don't know how to edit these, so don't say anything you don't want to say.
Well, yeah. So after certain things and people, you just be like, well, what's next? I
I've
feel
experienced it
like,
all. Yeah.
give me a different type of fun.
Yeah, no, no, no. I feel it. I feel it. Yeah, no. Career flexibility, I think, is something that the tech industry offers that a lot of industries really don't offer because it's like, baby, if you wanted to become a sales engineer and you spent the next year doing coding, they would let you do it. You know what I'm saying? As long as you can do a transfer interview or whatever, there's a position available. Typically, as an internal hire, it's much easier to navigate. So I love
And that's
that.
the beauty, like just the freedom to say, like when I go on, I've already, I'm curious. So looking
Yeah,
onto the internal mobility side, and there's like so many different options. This is like a big zoo. Like what
right.
cage I want to get in and fight with.
Literally. I love that too because, yeah.
What you want to do next?
Huh?
What do you want to do next?
I don't know. I've been trying to figure it out. Do I want to do like people leadership more so? Because I feel like I've stepped into that space now where I'm like leading so many people around their careers. Where it's like, do I want to do something on that side? I don't know if I want to go into like business program management. But like you said, the fact that I'm even at this point now in my career after 7 years of sales where it could be like, well, do I want to do something other than sales? Do I want to go into a technical role? AI is coming out. Do I want to learn some AI skills and go do AI? Like, because I love AI, but I don't know, I'm just at that point where I'm definitely exploring different things, but I love that it's not like something where I feel like I have to be like, oh, I need to switch industries or quit because I'm just so bored or this is kind of like what's next for me. You know what I mean? Like, how do I plan those transitions in my career? Be like 3 to 5 years. So that's something
Trade
I've
the
always loved
golden
about
handcuffs for
technology.
some bracelets.
Hmm?
Trade the golden handcuffs for some bracelets.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. But I do love connecting with people. That's why I feel like I've been so good in sales. So it's like to see now what's next, I think is gonna be super interesting for me because I wanna definitely stay involved and on the front line with people. But it's like, do I wanna help people from a career development standpoint? Do I wanna help people with products? Trying to like, figure out where I wanna land in that space is definitely what's next for me. So I won't say too much.
I was about to say, it sounds like something was cooking when you said what's next. I'm like, nah, that means something's on the burner already. Okay.
No, just trying to figure it out. Literally, I've had the conversations internally, like, hey, what's next for me? Like, what do you guys see me doing? What am I good at? What are my great skills? And how do you see me like expanding, my brand here? So definitely in the works, definitely in the works. But yeah, well, thank you for hopping on. I guess this
Thank
is
you for
this
having
isn't
me.
like my podcast. I'm like, well, thanks for joining me today. No, this is just a
This
quick,
is real bougie. It's like 99% uploading. It's doing a lot.
I know this is a really cool platform, and it was giving 4K when we did the test video. So I'm like, okay, it's giving YouTube quality. We can do this.
It's here.
Yeah, no, but thank you so much. I truly appreciate you for sharing your story and just helping other people see what the transition is like, the ins and outs, the work that it takes, and then the success that you get once you put in the work. I'm super happy for you. And obviously, I wish you all the best in your tech journey. And
Thank
I'm
you.
always here if you ever
And
need
thank you for being
advice.
so sincere, authentic, and personable. All the same, all three of the same words, but then you bundle them into one and personalize them. So it all means the world.
No, thank you. Awesome. Okay.
Have a great one.
Thanks.